Cuba and the United States are meeting face to face. The game is in the top of the second with the Cubans at bat, but already the United States leads 2-0. Scott Service singling in the second run as the aggressive American team went out with 2 hit-and-run singles, and they lead 2-0 top of the second inning. Cuba's Omar Ajete was 1 strike away from a perfect game. This bloop down the right field line broke up the no-hitter and ruined the shutout. But the game ended on this put out at third. And Cuba had buried Venezuela. It was in the 5th inning with the game deadlocked at 2. And Linares with a runner on second powered the Cubans' second home run of the afternoon. And now in the top of the 6th inning, with the Cubans at bat, they lead by a score of 4-2. Interestingly enough, see the young man there, Linares? That's the player that Toronto has been trying to coax into baseball. Live from Busch Stadium. They have completed 7 innings. And moments ago, Ty Griffin from Tampa, Florida, who attends college at Georgia Tech, slammed this 2-out home run that has pulled the United States to within 1 run. It was above the white line there, so it was a home run, and it is now 4-3 Cuba over the United States. How about
right here at Busch Stadium? We're in the middle of a controversial play. The United States believes they scored a run on a very controversial play only moments ago. Cuba is protesting the call, and we're waiting for the official, the umpires, to make a decision.
John, I think the United States has tied the game at 4-4. They have, John. Tie game.
We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Cuba and the United States, the game tied at 4. And an interesting play. Tino Martinez doubled down the right center field line. Fiore then bunts. Watch him. Pacheco, the second baseman, fields it. Garcia, the pitcher, is over to cover. Fiore runs him over right there. Fiore is called out. That was the protest. It did not stand up.
Tino scores.
Martinez scores, and we're 4-4, bottom of the 8th inning here at Busch Stadium. And it was really Tino Martinez starting off this inning with a double to right center field that ignited the rally, and then a great bunt by Fiore right there. We're tied at 4. Cuba 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors. The United States 4 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors. The hitter, Scott Service, the catcher, fouls 1 off. 1 strike.
John, this crowd is really into the game. They're really excited, really pumping up the young American team.
Scott Service, the catcher, number 28, from Coon Valley, Wisconsin, sophomore from Creighton at bat.
Mark, as we watch this pitch, this is Brent back in the studio. Let me ask you, when the first base coach crossed that foul line and charged the umpire, shouldn't he have stopped play right there and not allowed the American runner to score?
Brent, I think you're right. He could have stopped play right there. Luckily for the Americans, he didn't.
He didn't, and we're 4-4, Brent. Service fouls 1 off. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. The United States led this game 2-0. They got 4 hits and 2 runs in the first inning, but Kindelán then hit a 2-run shot to tie it. Linares, another home run, gave Cuba a 4-2 lead top of the 5th inning. Ty Griffin in the 7th inning made it 4-3. Linares over to Medina to be the out. 2 outs. Griffin made it 4-3. The United States trailed Cuba in the 7th inning, and then right there in the 8th inning, Martinez doubled, Fiore with the bunt, the controversial play, and we're tied at 4.
The young American squad has really executed well, John. That's the key to this game. They battled back 2 perfect hit and runs early in the game, and then the bunt by Fiore.
And the hitter, number 11, left fielder Ted Wood. He's 0 for 3.
John, Ted has outstanding power. He could hit one out here.
The pitch outside. Ball 1. And Ted Wood, having an outstanding Pan Am series, came into the game hitting .461, 5 RBIs, 1 home run. Sophomore from the University of New Orleans.
He's got power.
Two balls, no strikes. Garcia pitching so well. Valdes started the game, the lefty for Cuba. He only lasted 1/3 of an inning, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs. Garcia came on in relief and has pitched well for the Cubans.
John, he's thrown extremely hard.
3 balls, no strikes. 2 out. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Score tied. Cuba, the United States, both teams undefeated. This may be a preview of the gold medal game next Saturday. The pitch, strike 1.
Okay.
Fastball.
Good fastball. John, early in the game, believe it or not, Garcia was throwing 96 miles an hour. He slowed down a little bit now. He's throwing about 92.
A capacity crowd of 12,000 here at Busch Stadium for the Pan American competition on the edge of their seats. We're tied. Fouled off down the 3rd baseline.
Good cut at that fastball. Good home run swing.
Ron Frazier, the coach of the United States team, the dean of American coaches from the University of Miami. Ted Wood, the batter. The international rules, basically it's major league rules with 3 exceptions: the aluminum bat, the mercy rule, and the manager has only 3 free trips to the mound. Other than that, like the major league rules. Fly ball, Victor Mesa.
Didn't get
center
it.
field. Taylor reels it in. Okay, Brent, it's 4-4 here at Busch Stadium. Now back to Brent Musburger in the CBS Broadcast Center. Brent?
Hi, John. Doc.
12,000. We're tied at 4. In the bottom of the 9th inning, 2 balls, 1 strike on Scott Livingstone. Cuba came with a new pitcher, left-hander Pablo Abreu. Livingstone 1 for 3. Fouled off down the line. Linares can't get it. Let me put this game in perspective. These teams came in undefeated, both with 4-0 records. This may be a preview of the gold medal game next Saturday. Cuba, the dominant team in amateur baseball for some 30 years. They've won 6 of 9 Pan Am golds, 8 world championships. The United States comes in with a young team. And here are the standings for the baseball competition here at the Pan American Games. It's really the United States and Cuba on a collision course for the gold. We're in the 9th inning, 4-4, bottom of the 9th inning. Scott Livingstone, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Struck him out.
Good curveball, John.
And the format of the competition works something like this. There are 8 teams. They play each other in a round-robin competition. The teams with the best 4 records go on to the semifinals and then the medal rounds. It's number 4 against number 1, and then it's 2 against 3. Ron Frazier knows his team is headed in that direction, but wants to beat the Cubans this afternoon to prove that he can do it. The Cuban team, the veteran team coming into this competition, they average 26 years of age. The American team, mere boys. It's really the men against the boys. Mark Marquis, coach of Stanford, with me, our next Olympic coach, and this is a young American team, isn't it, Mark?
No question about it, John. The average age for the Cuban team is 26. Americans, 19, 20-year-olds. Cubans have been playing together for 6-7 years. United States players, 3 months.
The hitter for the United States, Larry Lamphere, the right fielder, number 2. 0 for 2 on the day, sacrificed in the second. Struck out his last 2 times up. Pablo Abreu on the mound for Cuba. Ooh, yes, he hit him. Lamphere trots down to first base. The potential winning run. Let's take a look at it again.
Breaking ball inside. Look at Lamphere. He didn't give. He let himself hang in there a little bit, John. He let himself get hit there.
But if you intentionally let yourself get hit, that will be called a ball.
Pretty good job acting, though. It was a breaking ball inside. He took one for the team there, John. I really believe that.
And this crowd of 12,000 near capacity here at Busch Stadium. The showdown, the United States undefeated 4-0 against the Cuban team, also 4-0 undefeated at Pan Am competition. The United States hoping to win their first gold in 20 years since my partner Mark Marquis was the first baseman on that 1967 United States team in Winnipeg.
This young American team is playing a heck of a game here, John. Little cat and mouse here. Lamphere can steal. Abreu's going to keep him close.
Ty Griffin, the hitter, the second baseman. He had a home run earlier. The move, a good move to first, Lamphere back.
Good move. Almost a balk move, but those umpires don't like to call the balk move on a left-hander. He's got a good one, though.
Ty Griffin, second baseman, switch hitter, batting right-handed against a left-hander. 19 years old from Tampa, a sophomore at Georgia Tech. One ball. Beefed up security here at Busch Stadium earlier today before we came into the game. Some dogs walking around sniffing for explosive. The lineup for the United States: Griffin, Silvestri, Martinez, Fiore, Service, Wood, Gonzalez, Livingstone, and Lamphere. Move to first. He's back.
I think Lamphere's going to take off here. It's just a matter of when.
Of course, Larry Lamphere, 5'9", 155 pounds. Good speed at 43 stolen bases at Central Michigan University this year.
Abreu, the Cuban pitcher, is going to keep Lamphere close.
The defense for the Cuban team: Castro, the catcher; Linares, the third baseman; Gonzalez at short; Pacheco, Medina. In the outfield, it's Gourriel, Mesa, and Casanova. One ball, one strike, two outs. Score tied. Bottom of the ninth inning. United States against the Cubans. The United States team has not beaten the Cubans since 1967. The Cubans have won 37 straight games here at Pan Am competition. They are the dominant team in amateur baseball in the world. The move. Abreu, Lamphere is back easily.
Abreu knows Lamphere is going to steal.
Ty Griffin hit a home run from the left side 2 innings ago, batting from the right side. Switch hitter. The move.
When's he going to go? When's he going to make his move to second?
Ron Frazier believes in pressure baseball. Pablo Abreu knows that. The United States team likes to run. The pitch.
There it goes.
Gourriel fading back. That ball.
It's gone.
He's gone. He's gone. Ty Griffin. Here's a replay. Ty Griffin, his second home run of the game. Take a look at it, Mark Marquis.
Breaking ball down and in, and Ty Griffin jumped on it. John, he hit it way out. Lazy breaking ball inside, low and inside. Ty Griffin drives it over the left center field wall.
And Lamphere scored ahead of him. The United States beats Cuba 6-4. The first time they've done that in 20 years. And look at Lamphere. Yes.
A little excited.
You know, I remember something in Lake Placid back in 1960. Some youngsters playing hockey for the United States. against
5-3, 2 out in the 8th inning. A routine fly ball to right field. Gilberto Escalera simply misplays it. A run scores, and Cuba has pulled to within 1 run, 5-4 against Puerto Rico. Lázaro Vargas, pinch running, steals third, and on the throw into left field, he scampers home to tie the game. Then tempers flare. Still with 2 out. Wanderlecia grounds out, but watches the spike comes down on the Puerto Rican's foot. He goes out after the Cuban infielder. The umpires quickly move in an effort to restrain him. And they go to the 9th, tied at 5. Antonio Pacheco homered to left field to give the Cubans a spot in today's gold medal game with a 6-5 victory. But the passions of this game had not cooled in the Puerto Rican dugout. They did not take the loss well, and neither did some of the fans in the stands. And quickly, Indianapolis policemen moved in to quell the problems. And it was a defiant Cuban team that led the field. The United States last night played Canada, bottom of the 1st, and Scott Livingstone hit a 3-run homer to give the Americans a 5-1 lead. But Canada came back. In the top of the 3rd, Bill Bukowski smashed a 3-run homer, and it was a 5-4 lead for the Americans. The superb head coach of the United States, Ron Frazier, then went to his bullpen with that score tied at 5. First, it was Jim Abbott. He induced a ground ball to second. That stopped the Canadians' rally. Frazier's team then went ahead 7-5 in the bottom of the 3rd when again it was Livingstone who hit for the cycle, smacking a 2-run single to right field. And Frazier saved his best pitcher for last, as he probably will do today, Cris Carpenter, ending the last Canadian threat in the 8th inning. And the last out of the game, and the U.S. had won it 7-6.
Left-handed pitcher for the Cubans, having his problems early. He walked the first 2 batters, Ty Griffin and Dave Silvestri, 1st and 2nd. Score, 0-0, bottom of the 1st inning. And perhaps the best hitter for the United States, Tino Martinez, is up. I'm John Dockery, along with Mark Marquez, head coach of the NCAA baseball champion Stanford Cardinal, and the United States Olympic coach next year in Seoul. And coach, who else would you want up in this situation?
This is the man the Americans want up here, Mr. Clutch.
Fouled off. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Of course, the United States before last week hadn't beaten the Cuban team in 20 years. Not since you were a first baseman on that 1967 team in Winnipeg has the United States won a gold medal here at the Pan Am Games.
This is a big surprise, John. They have a chance to take the gold here.
Ground ball. Fair ball. Casanova flubs it, and the bases are loaded.
John, one thing that Tino Martinez does so well, he does not strike out. He makes contact with 2 strikes. Here we go. Good breaking ball, low and outside, but Tino does not strike out. Put the bat on the ball, got it down the line. It's a poor play by the first baseman, Casanova.
So this loose and young American team mounts a rally. Bases loaded, no out. We're in the 1st inning. Mike Fiore, the designated hitter, actually playing left field today. 21 years old, from Coral Gables, Florida, junior at the University of Miami. And Ron Frazier, who is his coach in Miami, told us he wouldn't have anybody else in this kind of situation. Men on base.
Mike is a tough cookie. In fact, he leads the USA team in hitting at .440. He's a tough kid.
Fastball high. Ball 1. In the lineups for the United States, it's Griffin, Silvestri, Martinez, Fiore, Wood, Service, Livingstone, Sprague, and Guillat.
John, Mike Fiore is one of the guys you love as a coach. He's a guy that always seems to be dirty. As soon as the game starts, he gets down the dirt. He's a real blue-collar player.
The pitch fouled off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Defensively for the Cubans, and this is a veteran team, average age 26 years old. As you look at the outfield, it's Gourriel, Mesa, and Garcia. Around the infield, first base Casanova, Pacheco, Omar Linares. The pitcher, Abreu, and behind the plate, Juan Castro. High. And check down the first base. 2 balls, 1 strike, nobody out. Bases loaded for the United States against Cuba. Gold medal game here at Busch Stadium in Indianapolis.
One thing Fiore does a good job of, he doesn't chase many bad pitches, and there you saw an example of him not going after that high pitch. You're going to have to throw him strikes.
And Ron Frazier told us at Miami, with runners in scoring position, he was a .520 hitter. Outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Basically, the rules here, international rules, are Major League. 3 exceptions: the aluminum bats, a 10-run rule after 7 innings called the mercy rule, and the manager is allowed 3 trips to the mound. 3 balls, 1 strike. Fiore against Abreu. First inning, no score. Cuba and the United States. High, ball 4. He walked the run in. Ty Griffin puts the United States ahead 1-0. And if you are the coach, Higinio Vélez for Cuba, do you keep a young 19-year-old like Pablo Abreu in the game?
No, John, I think he's going to get him right here. And I'll tell you, Coach Vélez had a real problem. He's playing the gold medal game, and he's going with his youngest pitcher on the staff. Very talented, but very young and not experienced.
Well, with the score, the United States leading 1-0, we're going to take a break. We'll be back. A huge crowd here at Busch Stadium. It's been sold out for a week. People outside looking for tickets. Over 12,000 packed in to see this gold medal game between the United States and Cuba under threatening skies. As a matter of fact, it's beginning to drizzle outside the stadium. Right now, it's Ted Wood, a new pitcher for Cuba, number 38, Jorge Valdez, a left-hander.
Valdez is their veteran.
High curveball, ball 1, bases loaded, nobody out. Ted Wood, the hitter.
Coach Vélez of Cuba, I'm sure, did not want to go to Valdez this early, but he's got to keep the game close.
And the weather here, it's 89 degrees and dropping. Humidity 72%. Chance of rain 40%, maybe higher, as we felt some drops a moment ago. 2 balls, no strikes. Pablo Abreu started for Cuba, had his problems, wasn't able to get anybody out. The United States leads 1-0.
This is where Ted Wood can really look for a fastball. This is the time to sit on a fastball here, look to drive the ball.
Ted Wood, a .347 hitter here at the Pan American Games with 2 home runs. Fastball, strike 1, 2-1. Is Ron Frazier, the coach of the United States team, in the dugout. And you know what he told me before the game? He said, my players are relaxed because we've really done what we came to the Pan American Games to do. We've gotten the U.S. team in the Olympic competition, and now they can relax and enjoy today's gold medal game. Outside.
Ron has done an outstanding job of preparing the young United States team. They are relaxed, and that is a surprise.
Vélez, the manager of Cuba, obviously not relaxed. He had a tough game yesterday against Puerto Rico. He told me we were lucky to win, but for a couple of mistakes by Puerto Rico, we wouldn't be here against the United States.
But they're a veteran team.
There's the rain. 3 balls, 1 strike, nobody out. Ted Wood, the hitter. Strike 2, outside corner fastball. And it's raining here at Busch Stadium. Crowd starting to take out their umbrellas. Thunder. Ted Wood, the hitter, 3-2. Nobody out, first inning.
It's coming down real hard now, John.
They told me this field can take an awful lot of water. The pitch. Strike 3, outside corner. So he gets Wood looking with a good pitch.
Outstanding pitch by Valdez. He did that yesterday against Puerto Rico.
And as the rain falls here in Busch Stadium, we're going to get back to Christy Phillips in a moment, but there's the pitch.
Great pitch. Good location with a fastball, right on the knees, outside corner.
Are you surprised to see Valdez in the game?
I am. But he's pulling out all stops. He doesn't want the game to get out of hand.
Well, he pitched 3 innings yesterday, and that was one of the problems the Cuban coaches told us coming into today's game. They had such difficulty with Puerto Rico in the semifinal game, they had to use 3 of their starting pitchers.
Well, he shouldn't be able to go too long after throwing 3 yesterday, but you never know.
Thunder at Busch Stadium. Rain falling. Inside, ball 1. Number 28, Scott Service, the catcher, at the plate for the United States.
Scott has had a good Pan Am games. He's got some key hits for the United States team, and he'll get a fastball hitter here to hit, I believe.
It's interesting, Scott Service, 19 years old, from Dallas, Texas, a junior at Texas A&M, drafted by the A's in the 3rd round. Pitch, ground ball to shortstop. Ulacia boots it. The runners are safe, another run across. Silvestri scored, so the United States takes a 2-0 lead.
John, that was a tough play, especially on a wet field. It was topped. He tried to come in, try to get a double play. Here we go. Top ball to short. Scott doesn't run very well down the line, so a good chance to double it. Nope, ball just kicked up over the heel of his glove. That's an error, though.
It's a second error for the Cuban team. Casanova made one down the first base line, and now Ulacia, normally a sure-handed shortstop for Cuba, and the umpires have stopped the game because of rain, and they're going to bring the target. It's just a major explosion of some sort here at Busch.
Go to John Dockery. John?
And Brent, bottom of the 1st inning, 2 out, bases loaded. Ed Sprague at the plate for the United States. Drive to left field. Gourriel has it. Has it for the 3rd out.
Ball was hit extremely hard.
All right, so the United States leads Cuba by a score of 2-0 here at Busch Stadium. Now let's go to Tim. Indeed, 2-1 here at Busch Stadium in the gold medal game, top of the 3rd inning. Ulacia just hit a deep drive. Here it is. Don Guillat in center field will make the catch, but Garcia tagged up and scored, so it's now 2-1.
Also, John, Victor Mesa tagged up at first and went to second. Now he's in scoring position.
So we have men on second base, top of the 3rd inning, 1 out. Ball 1. Greg Olson on the mound for the United States. He's pitched well. Struck out 3. Looked very impressive here.
I think, John, that rain delay may have hurt him. He doesn't look as fluid as he did at the start of the game. He's struggling a little bit with his rhythm.
Who will the rain delay help? We were out for an hour with that rain delay. Ball 2.
I think it'll hurt the USA team because they rely on team speed, and the wet grounds hurts them a little bit.
In case you've just joined us, folks, lightning struck here at Busch Stadium. People ran for cover, and the tarp was put on. There was a 58-minute rain delay, and now we're back in action. 2-1, the United States ahead of Cuba in the gold medal game.
There goes Mesa.
There goes Mesa. A throw by Service, low. Livingstone with a good play at 3rd to prevent another run.
John, with Victor Mesa, you got to watch him at all times. He'll go, he'll steal a base anytime. He'll steal home. Here he goes. Great jump from second. That was still on the pitcher. He had no chance to throw him out. He had a tremendous jump from second base. He stole that on Greg Olson.
We've lost our scoreboard here, and Olson's parents watching tensely here. Bill and Sandy, his Greg's sister Tammy in the middle, and right now it's 2-1, 1 out, top of the 3rd inning. Greg Olson on the mound, and Mesa seems to have a problem. He's calling for assistance from the dugout, and Mesa throughout the series the last 2 weeks has been having ankle trouble. He's been able to play, but right now he may have jammed that ankle again.
Well, it's bothered him a little bit, but obviously it doesn't hurt him that much. He was just able to steal 3rd base easily. John, Coach Velez indicated that Victor Mesa is the showman. He is the showman. In Cuba, he's the man that everybody watches.
He is a catalyst for this team. As you look at the dimensions here at Busch Stadium, 335 down both lines. The power alleys 350 to center field. It's straight away 400 feet. And there's the ivy on the outfield wall, and a little bit of folklore is that in the 40s, Bill Wrigley sent a young Bill Veeck to look at some stadiums around the country. He came here to Busch Stadium, then called Victory Stadium, saw the ivy, went back with some glowing reports to Wrigley, and thus the reason why ivy is on the walls at Wrigley Stadium. A bit of folklore. And Mesa seems to be limping, but he's going to stay in the game.
He's fine. USA is playing their infield in here, trying to cut off the run, the tie-in run.
Antonio Pacheco, number 47, the second baseman, at the plate. Ball is hit to right field. Ted Wood is under it. Mesa getting ready to tag. The throw, Mesa scores easily, and we have a tie ball game. It's 2-2 here at Busch Stadium. And you do sense that Greg Olson's so sharp early, throwing over 93 miles an hour with his fastball. His slider looks sharp. All of a sudden, the rain delay of an hour, and Olson doesn't look that sharp.
Well, John, rhythm is so important for a pitcher, and Greg Olson is not in as good a rhythm as he was at the beginning of the game, and that rain delay of an hour definitely hurt him.
The next hitter, Omar Linares, the third baseman, number 10, 19 years old, third year with the national team. And you talk to the scouts, and they say that you may be looking at the best amateur baseball player on the planet. That's how much they talk in glowing terms about Omar Linares.
No question about it, John. He can do everything. He's got tremendous speed. He can hit for power, hit for an average. He can do it all. Plays great defense. Only 19 years old.
Curveball outside, strike one. Only 19 years old, and the scouts also said if he were in the United States, he'd be playing in the major leagues right now. One scout told me, why waste talent?
No question about it. Talent overflows with this young man.
Goes after a high fastball, 0-2. Greg Olson told me before the game, I was at batting practice talking to Jim Abbott, and Olson told me, last week against the Cubans, I made a couple of mistakes with my curveball. I hung a changeup, and they hit it out on me. Today, I'm going to come with my fastball, his best pitch.
USA coaches think they can get the Cubans with fastballs in, and that's what they're trying to do. See Scott Service have that high target, trying to get Linares to chase that high fastball. That's where they want to get him.
All important, these games. Olympic qualifiers for Seoul next year. And of course, you are the United States Olympic coach. Cuba, South Korea, Japan, and Holland. Add Puerto Rico to that after they won the bronze game today.
And the United States obviously is soul bound now, and there's just one other. The Asian champion has to determine. That starts next week in Japan, and then Italy will play Canada in the Intercontinental Cup in Havana in October to decide the 8th spot.
And of course, you are the United States Olympic coach, Mark Marquis. Will this basically be the Olympic team for the United States, a team we see here today?
No, there'll be some changes due to United States players signing pro contracts and then injuries and a lot of other things that can happen. But this is a good nucleus, obviously.
1-2, 2 out. Top of the third inning, score tied at 2. Oh, gets by. Base hit to right field. Gets by Martinez. Can't come up with it. And Linares, a definite threat to steal on first base.
Hit that ball extremely hard. Here we go. Ball's up too much, and he just tattooed it by Martinez. Tough play. Hit that ball extremely hard. But Linares is a tough out, but he got the ball up to him and out over the plate.
Mark, we talk about Cuba as being the dominant team in the world. They've won 6 of 9 gold medals. They are the world amateur champion at the moment. Where does the United States stand in terms of international competition in baseball?
Well, I would think in Seoul, the United States will be the 3rd or 4th favorite team there. It has to be Cuba the favorite, then Japan, and then you've got Korea and the United States about even. But Cuba's the strong favorite with Japan following closely behind.
And Greg Olson knows that Linares has excellent speed. Kindelán, number 46, a designated hitter, Orestes Kindelán, the man with the power for Cuba. There he goes. Steals it easily.
That's what we're talking about. Linares can beat you in so many ways, with a home run, with a stolen base, with a great defensive play. Now he put himself in scoring position with 2 outs. That's a big steal.
19 years old.
Here we go. Look at that first step. Covered tremendous amount of ground on the first step. Stole that base on the first step. Great jump.
So it's 1-0, 2 out, top of the third inning, score tied. Kindelán at bat against Olson. Fouled off, 1-1.
He got away with that pitch. Kindelán is the home run hitter on the Cuban team, and he's got 7 home runs, John. Leads the Pan American games.
And you remember last week, he hit that 2-run homer off Olson, and we have a huge crowd here. They stayed for that short but intense thunderstorm, lightning storm. Lightning actually hit the stadium. Over 12,000 people at Busch Stadium for the gold medal game. Slow curveball, outside corner, 1-2.
That's that sharp breaking curveball. Tremendous pitch.
And Greg Olson, it's interesting, he started 3 games against Canada, against Cuba, against Puerto Rico, and he has no decisions. Each time that he's been out, Cris Carpenter, the fine relief pitcher for the United States, has had to come in, mop it up, and get the victory.
But Greg has done a pretty good job because he's gone 4, 5, 6 innings, which gives Coach Frazier a good start.
Fouled off. Count remains at 1-2, and there, left to right, holding the flag, Greg Olson's mom, Sandy. In the middle, his sister, Tammy, and on the right, his dad, who is a football coach out in Omaha, Bill, here to see their son on the mound for the United States.
Well, John, Greg's dad, Bill, really taught Greg the curveball. He made him work on that curveball, and it has really paid off for him.
Popped up. Martinez in foul territory, looking for room into the stands. And you talk about Greg Olson's mom and dad, and they were so proud yesterday. Mr. Olson went back to Omaha, to Northwest High School there, where he's the assistant football coach and the baseball coach, and drove 600 miles back here last night to see his son pitch this afternoon.
Oh, he's excited. He really is. In fact, he told me a story last night that he wouldn't let Greg leave the backyard till he throws so many curveballs. That's where he has that good curveball.
And it's interesting that he should have a thumb injury in Cuba, and his thumb is still slightly swollen, and that affects his curveball more than anything else. So he's relying more on his fastball here. That Frisbee accident in Cuba last month.
The amazing thing is the American coaches told us that this is not the Greg Olson that you're used to seeing. He's a lot better than this because of that thumb injury, but he's pretty good even with a thumb injury.
Normally a reliever, he's starting for Team USA here at the Pan American Games. When you have him next year on the Olympic team, will he be a starter or will it be a reliever the way he is at Auburn?
Well, it would depend on what the rest of the staff is made of, but I think he prefers to relieve.
Okay, it's 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. We're tied. Top of the third inning.
He's got to keep Linares, even with 2 outs. Linares will take off and steal third if he has a chance.
But they really don't want to take the bat out of Kindelan's hand. I mean, he's their big RBI man. Low. Count goes to 2-2.
Well, sometimes with 2 strikes, the manager will take a chance and hope for a wild throw at third base. In fact, Cuba did that yesterday and scored a run against Puerto Rico.
Kindelán is the backup catcher, and the scouts say right now he could be a backup catcher in the major leagues and a pinch hitter. He's that good a ball player. Ball hit well to right field. Ted Wood back. That ball is off the scoreboard.
Tremendous power. Just what we've talked about.
To the opposite field. That's his 8th home run, and Cuba takes a 4-2 lead over the United States here at Busch Stadium in the gold medal game. And you have to sense that rain delay again. Greg Olson started out with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. We timed it on the Jugs gun. He comes back after the hour delay, and he's just not the same pitcher.
Here we go. That ball is low and outside, and Kindelán just hits a rocket off the scoreboard. That is tremendous power. That was a good pitch.
Okay, the United States trails Cuba by a score of 4-2. Now let's go back to Brent Musburger at the CBS Broadcast Center. Brent? Bottom of the 4th inning, Cuba leads the United States 5-3. Ed Sprague just got a base hit. He's on second base. Guillotte got a bunt single. And that's Ty Griffin with a drive to left center. It's in the gap. Sprague will score. Guillotte can run. He will score. Griffin in with a double. And the score is tied 5-all. Cuba and the United States in the gold medal game. The fans on their feet here at the stadium, perhaps remembering last week when Ty Griffin, the hero that last week, hitting a 2-run homer to beat Cuba. There, a key base hit, 2 runs scored, and we're tied.
Give Coach Frazier credit there. He didn't look to bunt. He let Ty hit away. Jumped on the first pitch for a double.
Dave Silvestri, number 5, the shortstop at the plate. 0-1. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
If you go by the book there, John, Coach should bunt, but Coach Frazier, he's got that rabbit's foot in his back pocket. That was a great call, letting Ty hit there.
And he also said to us many times, we'll gamble. I want pressure baseball. I want to run. I want to hit. I want to put pressure on my opponent right there. Griffin came through again the way he did last week against Cuba.
Now I think you'll see Silvestri try to move Ty over to third with no outs here.
And wait a minute, one of the umpires coming out to check something. The pitcher, Jorge Valdez, took off his cap. Wait a minute, is he looking for an emery board?
I don't think so. They've been hitting him too hard. Maybe he's looking for one now.
You know, the last time the Americans won the gold, you were on that team in 1967, and Dave Silvestri wasn't even born. How does that make you feel?
Old, real old.
20-year drought for the United States in the gold here at the Pan Am Games. Cuba has been the dominant team for almost 3 decades in amateur baseball. What makes Cuba such a dominant team?
It's the experience. Most of these players for Cuba have been playing international baseball for 6 or 7 years. They're 26, 27 years old. There's no substitute for that experience. Whereas the United States, they've been together for 3 months and the average age is 20 years old.
So it is really the men against the boys.
It really is.
All right, the count 0-1, nobody out, bottom of the 4th inning. Squares around, bunts. Safe. Oh, the veteran Cuban team, confusion on Valdez's part as to where to go with that ball.
That was not Valdez's fault. That was Pacheco's fault for not covering second base. He's got to be there for sure. Here we go. Good bunt, but Ty doesn't go on this. He's not going to third. Valdez looks, now goes to first. No one there. No one's there. Pacheco didn't come over.
And you
Casanova went to field the ball. It's not the first baseman's fault. That second baseman must be there.
And they gave him a base hit on that play. Pacheco, you saw him looking at Casanova. The first baseman came in. Pacheco just stood there with his hands on his hips. So it's 1st and 2nd. The United States rallying here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
John, let's see if Coach Frazier bunts here now. He didn't last time with Ty up in this situation, but 1st and 2nd, no outs. His 3-hitter, his best hitter up.
Tino Martinez, number 19, the first baseman. Came into the game with a .437 batting averages, 20 RBIs, 4 home runs. Attempted bunt. Fouled off, 0-1. And it's interesting when you talk to the scouts about Tino Martinez, they compare him to a young Don Mattingly. One scout actually told me he has more power than Mattingly had at this age, and that Tino Martinez is a legitimate top prospect and for the future Major League Baseball.
John, he's just a natural hitter. He makes contact all the time. He hits the ball where it's pitched, and he can hit for power. He's shown at these Pan American games that he can hit the ball for power.
And he always makes contact. He's drafted out of high school by the Red Sox. Has a can't-miss tag on him.
John, he's the only Division II player, college player on this team.
Sophomore at the University of Tampa, pitch out. Count goes to 1-1. Tino Martinez, the University of Tampa, .375 hitter, 29 home runs. Valdez on the mound. You see his stats there in replacement of Pablo Abreu, who didn't get one United States hitter out this afternoon. The big left-hander out right away. Valdez in relief.
Tino's got 20 RBIs. Leads the Americans and runs batted in. This is the man Coach Frazier wants in this position.
Fouled off. Count goes to 1-2. And I have this image that most of the people on the island of Cuba sitting in front of their TV sets or huddled around radios watching this game. Coach Valdez and the Cuban people, this is of national importance.
Oh, no question about it. Everyone's watching this game in Cuba. This is very big. This is very big to win the gold.
They're used to winning the gold. They won 6 of 9 since the Pan American Games started back in 1951. And baseball team in Cuba are really national heroes.
They are. Everyone in Cuba knows these players, knows their stats, knows what they're going to do.
Outside. Count goes to 2-2.
Good discipline by Tino there. Laid off that low pitch.
And it was interesting in this game, as you look at Ron Frazier, really, he led Miami, as you see, to 2 NCAA championships, 25 years at Miami, and only the second Division I coach to win over 1,000 games. 2-2 delivery. Martinez swings, went after a bad pitch.
That is unusual for Tino to strike out, but it was a good pitch by Valdez. Up and away. Got Tino to chase. Here we go. Ooh. Up over his hands, John. Chase that high pitch.
It's 1 out. Mike Fiore.
John, this is an ideal situation to hit and run. Best hit and run man on the team at bat. Speed on the bases. I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Frazier put something on here.
And of course, this is one of Ron Frazier's players at the University of Miami, a junior, 21 years old, from Coral Gables, Florida. And Frazier will tell you he's a .520 hitter with runners in scoring position. The pitch inside, curveball, ball 1.
And he doesn't chase bad pitches, can handle a bat, hit the ball behind the runner. Good hit and run man.
Score tied 5-all. Cuba and the United States for the gold here in Pan American baseball competition. Cuba came into this competition 7-1. Their only loss to the United States. The United States team 8-0, the only undefeated team in the competition.
Speed on the bases, John. Silvestri and Griffin.
We had a 1-hour rain delay here earlier, as you know, Mark, and because of that, we won't be able to finish this gold medal game here between the United States and Cuba. The pickoff attempt by Valdez. But at the halftime of tonight's football game, we'll bring you the results of this competition. It's 5-all and highlights. The United States and Cuba battling for the gold. They're tied. Bottom of the 4th inning.
Fiore's the leading hitter for the USA squad in the Pan American Games, hitting .440.
It was interesting the way Ron Frazier had his United States team approach this game. Their goal coming into the Pan American competition was to get a spot in the Olympics. They've done that. He said to them just before the game, gentlemen, you've done what I anticipated. Now have some fun as you go out and play for the gold. We haven't won the gold in 20 years. This is an opportunity of a lifetime.
They're playing very relaxed.
Pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. They are playing relaxed, and they're very confident. They beat Cuba, of course, for the first time in 37. Cuba hadn't been beaten in 37 games in Pan Am competition until the United States. Ty Griffin's home run last week beat them 6-4. A packed house here at Busch Stadium. Over 12,000 people, one of the hottest tickets in town for the gold medal game here in Pan Am baseball. Fly ball to right field. Garcia chasing it out of play. Brent Musburger, we wish we had more time. We're tied in this gold medal game, but we don't. So we'll have to go back to you now at the CBS Broadcast Center. Brent?
All right, John. Certainly I wish we had more time here, too. 5-5 right now, bottom of the 4th inning, U.S. at bat. And we will continue in just a moment. Moments ago, 2 strikes on Mike Fiore. The pitch, he goes the opposite way, a ground ball single to right field, and the United States takes a 6-5 lead on the Cubans in the bottom of the 4th, and then just seconds ago, they added another run with 2 out, and now they lead by a score of 7-5. And again, we will have the In the bottom of the 3rd, Mike Fiore pushed a single into right field, which scored Ty Griffin. It gave the United States a 6-5 lead. They added 2 more runs and went up by 3. But in the top of the 4th inning, the Cuban power prevailed. Luis Casanova slammed his 2nd home run of the game. Omar Linares added one, and the Cubans tied the score. In the bottom of the fourth, Ed Sprague homered to give the United States its final lead. For in the top of the eighth, after an infield error, the Cubans loaded the bases, and their veteran center fielder, Víctor Mesa, took over. In the ninth inning, the U.S. was down to its rally cap. They didn't work.
It's just so tough to battle back. We did it all game. It's tough to do it 5 times, you know. And, you know, this is a heck of a team, and I don't think we have anything to be ashamed of. No other USA team or any other team in this tournament handled the Cubans the way we did. So I think we played really well.
And for the Cubans, another proud moment in baseball.